Gavin Goode served in the United States Marine Corps as a military police officer. When his service ended, Gavin used his GI Bill to enroll at the Academy of Design Technology in Tampa, Florida. After college, his life took an unexpected turn, working as a stuntman and actor in films including Walk the Line, Syriana, Elizabethtown, Wild Hogs, Rocky Balboa, and more. Transitioning to a fine art career, Gavin Semper Fi Studios specializes in hand-painted fine art on stainless steel, copper, and canvas for residential and commercial clients such as Mark Wahlberg, Snoop Dogg, Usher, and Evander Holyfield, just to name a few. Over the years, Gavin's skill set as a fine arts painter, performing artist, and military professional has generated hundreds of thousands of dollars for various charities, veterans organizations, and fundraisers. Let's give a warm Patriot Arts welcome to Gavin Goode. All right, well, welcome to the show, Gavin Goode. We're so glad that you could join us. Welcome to the Patriot Art Podcast.
Thanks for having me, Tim. Glad to be here.
I really appreciate you coming on. We've been talking for a while, getting to know each other. So as much as I've been enjoying connecting with you, I know that our viewers are just going to absolutely love you. And when they see their art, they're just going to flip their lid. So this is great. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What branch of the military? And I know your hat kind of gives it away, but tell us a little bit about like what you did in the military, how long you were in, things like that. If you were stationed anywhere special, talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. Joined the Marine Corps directly out of high school. Well, graduated early, go to the Marine Corps, Paris Island, did roughly 4 years. Was overseas in the Albania, Croatia area in 95, and was a recruiter for a while, which was pretty fun. And after that, used my entire GI Bill for the Academy of Arts and Design and sort of took off from there.
Neat. That's pretty neat. So you were overseas and you were a recruiter. What was that like?
A recruiter. Well, my MOS was military police. Mm-hmm. So that was, but recruiting was great because because I was super young. So I could go into these high schools and colleges and malls and talk to these folks. And it was amazing. It was great.
Yeah. I think with your personality, you would have been probably a pretty good recruiter.
Walking around the mall in your uniform is not the worst thing in the world.
I bet that's pretty neat. That's a good gig. It's a good gig. I know we see them around. Of course, in the town I live in, there's so many military bases. Everybody's walking around in uniform. So it's hard to, a recruiter doesn't stand out very, very much around here. But in other cities, I can see how that would be like, whoa, what's that? Oh, that's the recruiter. That's a big deal. So that's pretty great. So when you got out of the military, what did you do? Did you stay in law enforcement? Obviously, I know you didn't, but tell us your story as to how your path went after the military.
Sure. Once I got out, I knew that law enforcement wasn't where I wanted to continue on with. There was plenty of letters and folks trying to recruit, like they do all former military and military police folks. I thought maybe going down the road as nurse, EMT, paramedic, and I was an EMT for a while and it just didn't really suit what I was interested in. So after that, bartended, sort of tried to find my way for a while, and then just sort of landed into the entertainment and acting side of the house. And from then on, my whole life took a completely different turn.
So you went the Hollywood route. And so what was that like? What drew you into the Hollywood world as an actor, for say? Because you didn't just do acting, you did stuntman work as well. So
Yes.
what drew you to that?
Well, it's the right place at the right time. I just happened to be doing an art piece, and they were about ready to film a movie called Elizabethtown, and was sort of drug in for the auditioning. And by the time I got the part, by the time we wrapped up, they had lined me up with 5 movies. So
Wow.
right after that, I immediately went to Memphis and filmed Walk the Line, Baltimore and filmed Syriana with George Clooney, Triple X Part 2 with Samuel Jackson. Then we went up to Philadelphia and filmed Rocky Balboa. So they had me just lined up for all these things. So from that point on, that's what I was doing for the next, 4 years, I guess.
So you kind of stumbled into one movie and came out with 5.
Well, yeah, I mean, I make sure to be in front of, around the right folks, listening to who's calling the shots, and try to be helpful and try to be in the way without being in the way. And that's it.
Right. So you made sure you were seen in the right way.
Yes.
Right. And
I still do that to this day. If I'm working live somewhere, I make sure to do a good job, meet the right folks, and then get out of there while they still think I'm cool.
Wow, look at these clouds. There's nothing like painting clouds, and I'm talking to you today from Santa Fe, New Mexico, where I can turn in a complete circle and see clouds all around me. So this is an opportunity I don't want to miss, and neither should you. So a couple things to remember. The clouds have soft edges, so here you want to use a lot of water. Here I'm going to paint the blue part of the sky that we can see here, right in here, and I'm leaving some ragged edges there. But mostly I want nice soft edges. So here I'm using more water. I'm covering the area that I want with water to keep those nice soft edges. And then I'm mixing, you see the darker color of the underside of the clouds. There I'm mixing a little brown into that blue. And I'm using a big brush so I can go quickly. And here is that underside of that cloud there. So they're really quick, a little bit like that, and you're done. Don't overdo it. So get out there and paint that landscape, especially those marvelous clouds. And that's your quick tip.
From your connections in Hollywood, you do some pretty neat things with your art career. Tell us a little bit about the philanthropy that you do with your art.
Sure. The past 5 years or so, I've been doing live events for these different charities all over America. They could be in Warrior Horse, Shreveport, Louisiana. It could be in Louisville or Vegas. So we do these pieces live, and they auction off for some crazy numbers, and get to meet some cool people and have some fun, drink all the champagne, and hop on a plane.
Oh, wow, that's wild. So these Hollywood elites basically have their charities, and they're doing their thing, and they invite you in as the guest artist. You do a performance piece. They watch you create this art live, and then they auction it off. Am I correct in that assessment?
Yes. Yep. Exactly.
Awesome. So take us through something like that, because I did the speed painting and the performance art as well, and so I'm very familiar with the whole, knocking something out fast and making it happen, and I did the whole thing where it was like blank canvas to finish painting, in
Nice.
2 to 7 minutes and all of that. So you did a little bit differently, though. Talk to us about it.
Well, I used to do them live, and by the end of the event, when they would auction it off, it would go for some good numbers, and that's great. But the ones that I would bring that are roughly 80 to 90% done, and then I start adding the cool stuff, the neons, the pearls, the glow in the darks, the iridescence. And I do that live, and I can take some time to address the crowd and do some Q&A and get the hype built up. Those sell for significantly amount more than the bangers. So that's sort of what I've latched onto. Like, let's just make it worth everybody's time and knock a home run out.
All right. So talk to me about how do you, when you say you're going to hype the crowd up, so you're talking to the crowd while you're painting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes they'll have a Q&A, or they'll mic me up, or like this year for the Mark Wahlberg event, I have 2 art pieces that I'm going to paint at the same time. And this is the first time I'm trying this, so I'm either going to mess up or it's going to look awesome. But there's a lot of different, I'm pretty good at knowing my audience and knowing what they're looking for. Like if it's going to be the arts and entertainment crowd, if it's going to be a military crowd, or a children's hospital, or a cancer event. It just all depends on which wardrobe and which personality I bring to the table, I guess.
There you go. No, you definitely want to know your audience. That's true. And it sounds like you got a pretty diverse audience, going from, events over here to children's hospitals.
Sure.
That's a big gambit. But with that, I mean, military people, we love to volunteer. We love to help. It's just something we all do. I think it's part of the whole, you go in the military because you want to serve, and that servant's heart translates when you get out. It doesn't go away. Matter of fact, I think it magnifies it, if anything else. When you're doing these events, I mean, I always ask, like, what's your why? What is the why? Why do you do that? I remember we've talked earlier, and you said, you don't say no, or you haven't said no in a long time to any charity that has asked you to come and perform. So talk to us a little bit about how that volunteering really helps you and what it does for you personally.
Sure. The philanthropy it's to be able to give back into areas that you'd never really meet these folks, and to hear their stories. It's pretty touching. Yeah, like you were saying, last year I didn't turn any charities down, just to see if, first of all, if it was possible for me to stay afloat and do that, but also to meet these different people and talk to them in their circles. And there's a lot of benefits, really, because you never know what's going to come of it. And a lot of these folks bring me back year after year, and I've made some nice relationships, and it's pretty fulfilling.
I bet it is. I mean, whenever you can do something that can help the less fortunate or help a cause, it does. It fires you up, and it kind of gives you that, like, yeah, this is why I'm doing it. This is why you were put on this earth, to do things like that. And of course, there is the benefit of, I'm sure you meet a lot of clients who, maybe they didn't win that auction painting, and they want a painting by you, and I'm sure it translates to sales for you as well.
Yeah, without being selfish, it is part of my job.
Charcoal or graphite? What should you draw with? Charcoal naturally wants to draw darker, creating a velvety matte black. The downside is that it's more difficult to achieve lighter values. Graphite is the opposite, lending itself to drawing lighter. Because of its crystalline nature, graphite has a metallic sheen to it, which makes it difficult to achieve a true black. Graphite pencils come in a wide variety of levels, and as this chart shows, range from very light to very dark. Charcoal is generally sold in a 3-pack of soft, medium, and hard pencils, which are actually charcoal mixed with clay and compressed to make very dark marks. To achieve softer values, vine or willow charcoal is simply burnt wood. These are very fragile and make light marks that are easily wiped off. So whether it's graphite, whether it's charcoal, it doesn't matter. Drawing is just so much fun. Speaking of which, if you've got some drawings that you'd like to share with us at the Patriot Art Foundation, be sure to send us some pictures of your artwork by sending it to our website or on our social media. So how your art typically, what is the, like, how would you describe your genre, your style before we show off some of your amazing art?
Okay. Everybody that I meet says it's very distinctly me. I didn't really have any I just sort of created. And so after all the years, it has sort of turned down into whatever we want to call it. If it's graphic art, if it's pop art, if it's, I don't, I'll let you, then the experts put a label on it. I just sort of, I do badass art, really. That's what I like to do.
That you know what? That's a great way to describe it, because it really is. It's got an edge to it that I really like. It's really fascinating. So let's go ahead and show. I've got let's see. I've got 5 pieces of your art that you sent me. You sent me more, and I'm sure during the broadcast, I'm going to make sure I edit them in. But let's show off some of these that we have. Here's one of the pieces. The man, the myth, the legend. Talk to us about this giant mural you've got going on.
Sure. That's on cinder block. Took me about 5 hours, about 11 foot tall. I did it for the Indianapolis boxing and grappling gym. And I don't do a lot of murals like that. I do large art pieces, but I rarely do them like what's called a banger or tagger art. And I just wanted to test the waters and see if I could do it. So the next one, I think I could probably cut that time in half. I think I could probably do that in a couple hours next time. So I'm excited to do another one. Speaking of that, let's go to this next one. You were talking about your auctions and things that you do with celebrities and such.
Here you go. Here you are with Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm going to be honest. I'm geeking out really bad right now.
Yeah, so was I.
Jealous. How could you not? My gosh.
Okay, so I was at the Mark Wahlberg event last year, and so there's this private party the night before, and Sugar Ray's there. So I got a canvas and went back to the hotel room and banged that out, and then donated it to the children's museum, or to the children's hospital the next day, and they sold it for $9,000.
Amazing.
Yep.
Amazing. So you knocked that out quick.
Yeah, just thinking on the fly and having the right tools and things around. This year, I'm taking 3 blank canvases with me, just in case something like that pops up again.
Oh, what a great idea. So just on the fly, you saw him there. You said, I got an idea. You painted this painting with him in it, and then boom. Did he buy it, or did somebody else buy it? I mean, how did
I walked up to him. I said, hey, if you want to sign this, I'll donate it to the kids. And we took a couple photos. He signed it, and we donated to the charity, and somebody bought it for like $9,000.
Oh, sweet. Mm-hmm. That's what you said about right place, right time, not being shy.
Yeah.
I mean, most people would have been intimidated to go up to Sugar Ray Leonard and say, hey, if you sign this, there you go. That Marine mentality, just go up and do it,
Adapt, improvise, overcome, maximize the situation. I'm not there to party. I'm there to raise money. I'm there to make a good impression and to come back next year.
So let's go to some of these other arts. You talked about Mark Wahlberg. And so here is one of his. Tell us about this right here. This is sweet.
Most of the work that I do is on stainless steel, big 4 foot, 6 foot, 8 foot steel pieces. And the reason I do that is because you can get these crazy colors, these iridescents, these pearls. I use automotive and lettering paint, so they take hundreds of hours. Then I put like an epoxy, a boat resin yacht epoxy, marine grade epoxy over top of them. And they turn out really well. So I did from his movie Max Payne. This is sort of what we landed on, and donated that. And I think that went for like 30 grand.
Oh my gosh, 30 grand. That is amazing. That is
I think,
absolutely
I,
amazing.
I think our total was like 40 grand that year. So don't hold me to that. But I think that's about what we did.
That is outstanding. Outstanding. So now, was this a charity that he works with?
Yeah, it's the Beaumont Children's Hospital in Detroit. So I went up to Detroit and knocked out a few pieces and made some really nice contacts. And some friends have been bringing me up to Detroit. I've done probably 6 pieces since then.
This piece, what is this piece for? What were you doing this one for? And what's with the awesome getup?
That was, so I have different wardrobe for different events. So if like after we wrap up here and I take this polo off, I'll be wearing a hoodie and doing something different. So I like I know how to read the crowd. We did that in Miami. That was for a organization that brings veterans into the civilian welding world. So
Okay.
that was that, and we sold that piece for 30,000. It's on stainless steel. They gave me a welding helmet to use as a reference, so I said screw it, and I threw the rest of my paints on the welding helmet and the pants. And then when I went down there, they bought the pants and the welding helmet, and that went to charity too.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. So this was an organization that takes veterans and trains them and teaches them how to become welders.
Yes.
What a great, great cause. This is, and you're using art to do that. And it's just gorgeous. What a cool piece. What a cool piece.
Welcome, veterans, to Watercolor Boot Camp, where we are going to show you how you can tell your own story through art. I'm Mary White. I spent 7 years traveling the country, painting veterans from all walks of life and from every state for the project We the People, Portraits of Veterans in America. And that's where I learned how painting could be a way for you too, as a veteran, to tell your own story. We're going to show you how you can select your painting materials, draw it on the paper, mix the color, paint washes, and create paintings that you'll be proud enough to show your family.
I was a combat medic.
Army.
I hadn't painted in 55 years.
Since the 4th grade. I tried watercoloring once, it didn't work out very well. Not as hard as I thought it was.
And so what will your paintings look like? Well, they won't look like mine, and they won't look like anybody else's, because there's no one way to paint. There's not a right way or a wrong way. Your paintings will look just like your own, because maybe you like to paint every little detail, or maybe you like to paint big, loose washes and paintings that are almost abstract. You might like bright, vibrant color, or you may prefer neutral colors.
I'm learning and watching Mary, how she just throws paint on the canvas and all of a sudden it's a pair of boots. Amazing.
It sounds weird, but you lose track of time. And that's when you know you're doing something that's good for you. You'll be painting and all of a sudden you look around and it's like, man, it's been 2 hours. Oh, this is amazing. This is what I've been doing with my life, painting.
We're gonna come alongside you so that you can work at your own pace in your own home. And we're gonna show you how to paint big, loose paintings, still life, landscapes, flowers, animals, portraits, and even illustrated journals that you'll be proud to have as a keepsake.
It saved me. I hit a really deep spot, and it was the art therapy that it pulled me out. I get stressed, that's the first thing I go to. The problem still exists, but it doesn't affect me anymore.
We are so proud at the Patriot Art Foundation to partner with Terracotta to bring you these courses. And so now, let's get started.
So what advice would you give to somebody that is, say, maybe they were like you, they're waffling, they've gotten out of the military, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do, what they're trying to do, what the next step is. Do you have any advice for someone that's in that position that might even be considering art? Maybe they were they were the art guy or the art gal in their squadron that was doing caricatures of everybody, or drawing pictures and all that for different things. in their squadron or in their platoon or whatever, and they're getting out now. What advice would you give to someone like that?
Make sure you access all your benefits, I guess. With having the GI Bill, $47,000 to spend on the Academy of Art and Design, that really helped me with things. I guess I would say just see what you have there from the military that could possibly help you along, and then surround yourself with folks that are driven and talented, and you just got to give it 110% and see where that takes you.
Nice. Yeah. And you know what? Then sometimes going to school helps you find out that's
Absolutely.
That's what you do, and getting around a bunch of other creatives, there's nothing like it. That's one of the things I do like about what we do here at the Patriot Art Foundation is it gives our veterans a way to find that community. If you're an artsy person, but you're also in the military, it's like, or you're a veteran, and you've got that mindset. It's like, okay, how do I fit into the art world? Well, there's lots of veteran artists out there, and the Patriot Art Foundation is a place where we can meet. We have a Facebook page. We've got Instagram. We've got the podcast on YouTube. We have online courses. We have all kinds of things that we do at the veterans hospitals. And so we're creating a space for veteran artists to come together and have that camaraderie and have that community. And when you can surround yourself with like-minded people that have the same passions as you, in this case, art, man, that's a beautiful place to be.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you bringing me in and let me be a part of it.
Oh, it was an absolute pleasure. I know that our viewers are absolutely going to love it. So thank you very much for coming on the show. This has been fabulous.
Thank you very much for having me, Tim. I had a ball. And if there's anything that I can do for you guys in the future, please reach out.
Oh, we absolutely will. And if you want to contact Gavin, you can check out his website. It'll be right here on screen as well as in the description below. So thank you guys for coming on. We appreciate it. Gavin, thank you so much. We will be talking to you again very soon.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you.